Hello, do you hear me? I can hear you, but little bit low volume. Now it's perfect. I send you a link for the video. If you see it in the Skype, do you see me there or not? Okay. Should be in the message in the Skype, or I can send it. You should see me there, and you should see a control unit inside. Correct? So now what I need to do is you need to mute the voice. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you need to deactivate the sound of the video. And now it should be okay. Yeah, so the video will be like 10 seconds delayed. So, but I will fight with it. So I think it should be functional. So let's do it. Do you hear me? Yeah, okay. So question is right now, because I have right now the control unit of the Biopel, as you can see. So I was thinking about what to do first. I could, for example, first explain the differences between V9 and V9 Premium, for example. And then maybe we can talk a little bit about other stuff if you have some questions, or I can always show you some specific things, for example, how to connect room thermostat, mixing valves, and so on. Is it okay? Okay. 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 And you did that, or did you try to update, or not? Okay. Yeah, sure. What I believe you say that the screen is totally black, correct? You know, to try to upload the display, of course, this could be one possibility, but to be honest, I never had before situation with a black display where when like the software update helped, because I do not remember situation when we have a issue with black display. So of course it could be some simple things like that the wiring connection from the back side of the display is not properly done, so maybe some wire fell off or something like this. Yeah. It depends. I mean, it depends how far it is, because if it's close, I would say try to update the software first. But if it's like distant place, then maybe better thing is to change the display and then maybe get the display back and try to upload the software on your place, right? Yep. Yes. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay, was some long explanation about something? Okay, so basically I would suggest to change the display for new one. I don't know if you have some display, and then take the wrong display back and check on in your office, if something is wrong or what's the problem. Yeah, because I cannot say exactly what could be the reason, because we had a like white display. We had some interference with some high voltage in the boiler room, and then the display went like totally white. But I do not remember a situation when I had with the black display. So better to change the display. So should I start with some small explanation? Okay, so basically on the main screen, as you can see right now, there are few new things. So I will try to first show you what is different. Right now on the right side, below the firing up buttons, you see damped. Right now, right bottom side of the display, this is basically the place where you should see the situation about the boiler. So for example, right now the boiler is switched by hand, so that's why it is dumped there, like switch off. When you have room thermostat connected, for example, then it can show you that the boiler is off by thermostat, for example. So this box basically is always telling you what is the current situation about the boiler. So if somebody, for example, calls you that the boiler is doing something and he is not able to say, for example, why the boiler is switched off, usually what I do is to check this box to see if the boiler is just off by hand, like right now, or if there is off by thermostat or off by outside temperature and etc. So this is one change. I don't know if you would like to translate. Yeah, okay, go on. So now I will change the screen and we will display different things. For example, in a second you will see there tank capacity or number of pellets inside the tank. I think you see it right now, correct? Okay, so this is the same thing as before, but a little bit changed. We basically changed how the consumption of the pellets is calculated. Right now it should be more exact, more the same as the real capacity of the tank. If you want to translate. Yeah, so in the menu right now we have new function which is able to calculate the number of pellets. It is the same thing as with the Black Star. If you remember, there was I think feeder calculation or automatic combustion or something like this. And this function right now is able to detect, of course, or calculate how many pellets you have inside the tank. But the main thing is that you can calculate basically the power of the boiler. So this is something what is done during the first startup of the boiler. Yes, exactly. I will show you. I will change the menu right now, and in the filters menu, you will see right now that there is a second function which is called feeder calibration. Okay, and this menu is under the password, so you need password for that. The number is the same as for the first startup, so 1001. And then you can change few things basically to calibrate the feeder. If you want to translate right now, you can. So now I will explain what is inside. Basically, this function is optional. From the factory, you will see that it's off. Okay. So let's say that standard setup of the boiler works always the same way as before. So you do the first startup of the boiler, you activate the boiler, and then you maybe make manual flame adjustment. Okay, that's the. So exactly. Maybe I can explain it like step by step. So so when you do the first startup of the boiler, of course what you need to do is always to do the first start of the boiler. Okay, so as you can see, I'm changing it right now. Should I go through all the setup, or you know what is inside? So I will activate the first startup, and just quickly we can show what is inside. There are also few new things because we have this new automatic cleaning, so also the first startup is a little bit different. So code is 1001, and of course first what you will see is the same as before, so date and time. So I will just change the date and time, and maybe the third thing is important to translate is of course the power of the boiler. So you can see right now basically, okay, 15 kilowatt I believe we have. So again, we have one control unit for all the powers, so you always need to change the power according to your boiler. So let's move on. Second step is to activate the feeder, to fill the feeder with the pellets. So yeah, this, yeah, please. So of course, when the feeder is full, we deactivate it and move to the next function. Okay, so let's move on. Now it is all about accessories and temperature setup. So first of all, boiler temperature. Speaking of boiler temperature, we select the temperature we want, which is right now 80 degrees. But then we need to select also the hysteresis, which means the temperature below, and also temperature above. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, usually, you know, in these days, usually, you know, the maximal temperature are going down and down because houses are more and more insulated and so on. So usually here we have a little bit more cold than in Italy, but here usually 70 is like maximum, and yeah, it could be even lower, but then you need to also think about the safety valve, about the valve. So you always need, of course, the boiler temperature higher than the valve, right? So basically, yeah, the boiler hysteresis is the temperature, or the drop of the temperature, basically when the boiler starts to heat up again from the factory 15 degrees. You can change it. Usually I recommend to keep it like this, but it depends, of course, on exact situation, what is needed. Then we have something called CH temperature above, which is basically, I call it modulation range. Basically, it is temperature which is telling you by how many degrees you can overlap the boiler temperature. So right now we have, for example, 80 degrees boiler temperature, and the temperature above, as you can see right now, is 5 degrees. So the boiler is modulating power between 80 to 85, up and down, and basically trying to keep the boiler temperature inside this range, 80 to 85. So basically, again, from the factory, it is 5 degrees. Usually, what I recommend is, again, to keep it 5 degrees. But for example, if you have new house has a new heating system with probably really low volume of water inside the heating circuit, in this case, it is better to increase it to 10 degrees, because it takes really short time for the temperature to drop down, but it depends on the situation, of course. Yes. Yes. if you have small volume of water, then you need to keep this number higher, so the boiler is able to modulate the power without switching off. Because when you have when you have small volume of water, then it heats up really quickly, and you have boiler has no time to decrease the power and modulate it down. Yeah, so next step is a room regulator. As you can see, we have on the boiler basically 3 outputs for room regulators. Right now I activated the OPOP regulator RT10, but you have also 2 outputs for standard room thermostats, which works without voltage, just normal close, normal open contact. Now, the room thermostat, of course, in the standard situation is operating or switching off and on the boiler, but here you can also activate pump or mixing valve by the room thermostat. With the buffer tank, the buffer tank has always priority over anything else. So basically, if you activate buffer tank, you tell the boiler that you need to keep, for example, 70 inside the buffer tank. And this is the most important for the boiler. Even if you have room thermostat connected, the buffer tank will be always heated up. Actually, with the situation when you have buffer tank, usually, you know, on the other side of the buffer tank, you have some mixing valve or something for the heating circuit, and in this case, it is better to operate the mixing valve with the room thermostat or by the room thermostat and not the boiler, actually, because boiler is heating the buffer tank, and you release the hot water from the buffer tank by the mixing valve, which is activated by the room thermostat. Yeah, so this is about the room thermostat. Then maybe if you want, I can show you exactly how to activate the thermostat and what to select if you want to operate mixing valve or the boiler. Okay. I can simulate it here, so then we can activate, we can say what we want, and I can simulate and show you. So basically, with the first startup, you just activate the thermostat. You do not make any kind of adjustments. You just tell the control unit that we have connected the room thermostat, and then all the setup for all the accessories is then made in the fitters menu. So we activated the thermostat, and let's move on. Now the control unit will start to ask about all the accessories. So The next accessories is the lambda sensor for measuring the oxygen. Now I will say no, that it's not activated, but then if you want, of course, we can speak about lambda afterwards. So So next thing is the compressor cleaning for the burner. Okay, so with the compressor, I say yes, that we activated the compressor cleaning. There are actually 3 outputs connected, or 3 outputs in the connection board to connect 3 electromagnetic valves. One is for the burner, and 2 other valves are for the heat exchanger. Okay, so exactly, because the heat exchanger is big, so we like separated two like front section of the heat exchanger and the rear section to make sure that the power is big enough to clean. So now basically the video is going through all the accessories, of course. Then we can, I know that you are basically interested in a few accessories, so then we can maybe speak about these exact accessories. So I will move on, and after the last question basically is that the first startup of the boiler is completed. Do you want to start the boiler? So basically, yes. Yeah. Yes, yeah, sure. Yes, just to finish the first startup, right now it's saving all the setup we did, and basically right now we can be sure that the boiler will run properly, that the power is set correctly. So basically I also activated the boiler right now. Standard operation is the same as on old Biopels. Okay, so you have something like firing up. Now we have a flame which you can see on the top right corner, and then of course the boiler is going to standard operation in like 5 seconds. So there is no change there. Basically the second step after the first startup, I always say, should be wait for the maximal power of the boiler, in this case 15 kilowatt, and then check the flame and maybe make some let's say manual adjustments. This is basically done in the features menu coefficients. Okay, if you go to the features menu coefficients, then you can basically adjust the number of pellets and speed of the fan for maximal and minimal power. Let's say that the standard setup of the boiler should be okay in most of the situations. So even if you do not do the corrections inside the coefficients, the boiler will of course work quite well. But of course, if somebody wants to make the combustion as best as possible with as higher efficiency, let's say, as possible, then of course we always recommend to do the coefficients and to adjust the flame manually. Okay. So now about the feeder calibration. In any time, it should be after the first startup of the boiler, when you select the power, and then the second step could be the feeder calibration. Okay, you can do the feeder calibration, or basically, probably I recommend to do it when the boiler is off. So let's say when you finish the first startup of the boiler, and before you start the boiler, then you can do the feeder calibration. Okay. Do you hear me, Alerona? I hear you again a little bit low. Yeah, so basically now I can show you because now I deactivated boiler. Let's say we finish the first startup of the boiler, and the second step will be feeders menu and the coefficients. Pardon, the feeders menu and the feeder calibration. Okay. So feeder calibration, again the same number, 1001, and and inside it will ask you few things. It is actually almost the same as on the Black Star. So first, activation, and then first thing you will adjust is the calorific value of the pellets of the fuel. Basically, this adjusts the dosages of the pellets just a little bit, nothing special, just few grams more or less. Of course, higher the power of the pellets is, then less pellets are going in. Okay. Usually it is written on the back of the pellets, sometimes not. If it's not there, I usually say just keep 18. This is like average number, let's say. Yeah. So next thing is the tank capacity. This basically is function which is calculating the current number of pellets inside the tank. So basically here you need to select how big your tank is. Okay, so I don't know, standard compact tank could be 150, let's say. Okay, so the biggest compact tank is 150, so you will select, for example, 150, and then when you fill the tank, you need to confirm. I will show you how you need to confirm that you filled the tank, and then it will show you that the tank is filled 100%, and then it will count down the number of burnt pellets. Yeah, and then the last step is to do the start waging function, the last one. Okay, this will basically activate the feeder for 5 minutes. So it will show you like number, you can see it right now. And now basically the pellets are falling down from the feeder. So you need to have some bag, some sack below the feeder and wait 5 minutes until all the pellets will drop down. Okay. So when the feeder will stop after 5 minutes, you will have some number of pellets inside your sack, inside your bag, and then you need to weight it. Okay, you need to know how many grams it is. And then you have the weight fuel function, and inside the weight fuel function you will basically select, add the number of the grams. So what you see right now, this is like factory settings, 200 and 2200 grams, which is the same as the factory settings. Okay, so basically right now we have no change. Usually in my experience, especially with the compact tanks, the number will be a little bit smaller. Okay, maybe 1900 or something like this. So we will put the number inside. Same situation as with the Black Star. Lower number is basically more pellets, because lower number means that the feeder is slower, is giving like less pellets, which means in the end that it will work for longer time to give the number of pellets you need for the power you selected. Yeah, so right now when we have a number inside, we are basically sure that the boiler will supply exact number of pellets we need to achieve, for example, in our situation 15 kilowatt maximal power. We are right now sure basically that the boiler has proper power. Okay. Yeah, so now we keep the feeder calibration on, so it will be active, and then basically the next step is of course again to activate the boiler. So we go outside and we can activate the boiler once again. And now basically the last step again is the same. We wait for ignition, and after ignition we wait for maximal power. And when we have maximal power, we open the door, we check the flame, how it looks, and then maybe adjust the speed of the fan, because right now we do not need to adjust the number of pellets because we measured the number of pellets. Only thing maybe what we need to adjust a little bit will be the speed of the fan. For example, if the flame will be too dark, too big, too small, okay, then we need probably to adjust the speed of the fan, and you do it again inside the filters menu coefficients. So basically you see here two functions. The left one is the fan correction lower, which is the fan speed for minimal power, and in the middle you see upper correction fan, which is basically the maximal power and speed of the fan during maximal power of the boiler. So these are the two things what you can adjust. Usually, again, practical experience, you don't need to change or correct the minimal speed of the fan, because this is just for the minimal power and there is really small flame and no need to adjust anything. But really important thing is upper correction fan, which is fan for the maximal power. And you know, if you see that the flame is too smoky black, like let's say, or a really black red color, then of course you need to put here, for example, plus, I don't know, 5-6%, so the fan speed is a little bit bigger, and the combustion is because of it better as well. Then when you do the correction, if necessary of course, then you wait maybe 5 minutes to see the difference when the flame stabilize itself, and again open the door, check the flame. The flame should be like orange color, it should not be red, because red it means not enough oxygen. When it's yellow, that's the opposite spectrum. This means that the flame has too much oxygen. So usually something middle, not yellow, not red, something like orange color is the best. No, the opposite. Not enough. Yes. Yeah. Basically, if you don't do the feeder calibration, usually the factory settings are okay and the combustion will be plus minus okay. When you do the feeder calibration, of course, because of different situations, different type of pellets or different angle of the feeder, these factors will influence how many pellets will go in after the feeder calibration. So that's why you need to adjust the fan speed after feeder calibration to be sure that the flame is not dark, not black. That's the most problematic thing when you have you know, a lot of pellets going in, but you have low speed of the fan. Then of course you could have problem with bad combustion, and you need to increase the speed of the fan. So now basically we are back on the main screen. The boiler is running at 15 kilowatt, as you can see on the left side. So this is max power. And on the right side you see the tank capacity 73%. So basically right now, because we did the feeder calibration, let's say that I filled the tank, so we have full tank with the pellets. Basically, if you click on the picture of the boiler, then it will ask you if the pellet tank is full, and if you say yes, then it will show you 100% full content of the pellets inside the tank. Below it shows you also how many days and how many hours the tank should last. Right now I have just 3 hours because I did the calibration really fast, so it thinks that the feeder calibration is like fast, and then of course it takes only 3 hours. Normally you would have maybe, I don't know, 7 days or something. It depends on the situation, of course. So basically what we did right now is the standard setup of the boiler. When installer does these 3 steps, so let's say first startup of the boiler, feeder calibration, and correction of the fan inside the coefficients, then you are sure that the boiler will work properly without any issue, and you can basically leave the boiler room if there are no, let's say, accessories to activate and adjust, and this should be the next chapter. So now maybe the question could be, speaking of accessories, we can talk about accessories right now. So maybe always you can tell me which accessory you want to speak about. Maybe if there is some specific situation, specific kind of installation, speaking of mixing valves and so on, and then I will try to explain everything. All accessories, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can go through all of them, of course, and you can tell me basically, you know, you can ask, of course, me what you want to know. I will go through it. You can tell me, you know, I know that, so please something else or whatever, okay? So, of course, all the accessories are inside the fitters menu. So let's go through it step by step. What we have, what do we have inside the fitters menu? We talked about coefficients and we talked about feeder calibration. The third thing is manual mode. You know what is the manual mode? Okay, exactly. So inside the manual mode right now, maybe the new thing is the compressor cleaning. That there are these 3 valves, so we have three buttons to activate all the valves separately, but otherwise the manual mode is still the same. So next thing, do you want to explain or do you want to translate? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so okay, so room regulator. Inside the room regulator, you can of course again activate or deactivate the thermostats, the room regulators. Right now you can see we have OPOP regulator, and in this menu it is important to say that in this menu we connect the room thermostat to the boiler. So all the setup you see here is for the boiler, when the boiler should start and when the boiler should be activated by the room thermostat. And then you know, if we leave the OPOP regulator on, and then we can go to the right side, and inside the right side there are other functions to activate. So this is basically the standard setup from the factory. Firing up function is activated. Okay, firing up function means, or basically says, if the boiler should be switched off by room thermostat, or if the boiler should only decrease the boiler temperature by the signal from the room thermostat. Yes, exactly. So basically when this function, firing up function, is activated, this means that the boiler will be fired up, will be activated by the room thermostat. So if the room thermostat says heat, the boiler will switch on. If the room thermostat says do not heat, boiler will switch off. No. That's the point actually. When this function is activated, as you can see right now, this is one option. This means that the boiler will be on and off immediately by the room thermostat. Okay. And now the second option, when I do not want to deactivate the boiler immediately, and I want only to decrease the boiler temperature. Okay, so I basically deactivate the firing up function, and then you have on the right side room rec temperature lower, which is the drop of the temperature. Okay, so right now I deactivated the firing up function, and inside the room rec temperature we can select, for example, that the boiler will decrease the boiler temperature, let's say by 20 degrees when there is a request for no heating from the thermostat. Yes. To the boiler. So basically, if the boiler temperature, selected boiler temperature is, let's say, 70, and we have 20 degrees the drop of the temperature, then the boiler will not heat up to 70 but only to 50 degrees. To explain why this function is inside the control unit, basically, if you have here in Czech Republic, we have quite big houses with a lot of water inside the heating systems. Exactly, and in this case, let's say that if you switch off the boiler, then it takes a long time for the boiler to heat up all the water inside the system again. So we choose to not switch off, but only to heat to lower temperature, which is exactly why we do by this room rec temperature lower. Well, with the buffer, question is, if you if you really need the room regulator to be connected to the boiler, because of course there is no reason for the buffer or for the boiler, let's say you have buffer, so you heat up the buffer, and then from the buffer you take the water as you want for the heating circuits. So basically the boiler can work without the room regulator, just to heat up the buffer to the temperature you want, and then the room thermostat could be connected on the mixing valve or mixing valves on the other side of the buffer. So the room thermostat will basically close the valve if there is no request for the heating. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No. The connection of the room regulator is always the same. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's for the boiler or for the mixing valve, because you connect the mixing valve inside the boiler, so you connect also the room regulator inside the boiler. And now, speaking of OPOP regulator, you know that there are these two black RS connectors. So you choose one of them and you connect the OPOP RT10 inside one of these connectors. If you choose the standard room regulator 1 or 2, in this case there are outputs called room reg 1 and room reg 2. It's the main green board, the biggest one in the middle, and in the middle of this green board there should be room reg 1 and room reg 2. Okay. So again, of course, it depends. If you have one mixing valve, you activate probably only one room thermostat. If the heating system is a little bit bigger and you have, for example, 2 separated apartments, then you can use, of course, 2 room thermostats, and then you will activate the room thermostats inside each of the mixing valves settings. I mean, you can use RT10 for one mixing valve, but problem is that you cannot connect 2 RT10 thermostats. So you would have, for example, one RT10 for one mixing valve, and for the second mixing valve you would have to have a standard room regulator. Yeah, for example, yeah. Basically, you need to remember that you cannot connect 2 RT10 thermostats. You can connect only one. So if you need 2 thermostats and more, then of course only option is to use standard room regulator. So in this menu, filters menu, room regulator, Here I activate the thermostat only for the boiler, if I want to activate or deactivate the boiler, okay, not the valve. So maybe now we can explain how to activate the room thermostat for the mixing valve. Mm-hmm. Yes, so in the fitters menu we have a mixing valve or built-in valve 1 and built-in valve 2. So basically with the control unit you can use 2 mixing valves as a standard, and if you have really big system then you can use this 431N module, you know it from V8, so you can extend and basically connect 2 additional modules to the control unit of the boiler. So in this case you would have as much as 4 mixing valves possible to operate by the boiler, but standard is of course 2. So now I will go to the built-in valve 1 and we will activate it, and I will show you probably all the setup which is inside, including the room thermostat. So first thing what we need to do is of course to activate the room thermostat. So we will activate it, and of course the first step will be probably to select the valve temperature, basically which is the temperature which is going to the heating system as you want. Right, so I selected 60 right now. Mm-hmm. Let's say, yeah, this is basically the set valve temperature is basically the maximal temperature which is going to the heating system. So basically when you reach, I selected 60, so when you reach 60 then the valve will close itself. Okay, so this is about the valve temperature. The second thing is calibration. Usually we do not do the calibration. I mean you can do it, but let's say if you activate the calibration, the valve will from totally open go totally open and then totally close, and it basically calibrates, you know, how long it takes and so on. If you have some standard valves, you know, it takes them 2 minutes to move from totally closed position to totally opened position. And this is also the factory settings for the control unit. If you have, for example, some faster valve, then you can use calibration to calibrate how long it takes. Okay, so maybe I can show you where you can change it. When you can change the value, it's called actually opening time. So if I go to opening time, I have 4 minutes right now. I believe from the factory there is 1 minute and 20 seconds. But here you can change the number. So if you have I don't know, you set 2 minutes or. Okay, so if you have 2 minutes valve, then here in opening time you can adjust 2 minutes. You want to translate? Okay, so next thing is the single stroke, 5%. Basically, the valve opens 5%, then it waits 30 seconds, and then it opens additional 5%. So again, if you want to increase the speed of the opening or speed of the closing, you can change the percentage here to higher number. So by one move, the opening will be basically bigger. Minimal opening is actually really interesting function. From the factory, the minimal opening is actually 5%. Right now I have here 0%. It is connected with the valve pump actually. Okay, because if you have minimal opening 5%, this means that there will be still some small opening, and the pump will always work because it will keep the flow inside the system. If you want, in the situation when the heating circuit is heated up and you want to close the valve and also switch off the pump for the mixing valve, then you will select here 0%. And if you select 0%, the the valve will close totally, and because of it, also the valve pump will be deactivated. Hope this makes sense. Because I give you examples. Sometimes people ask us, my room is heated up, why the valve pump is still running? Okay, and it is because of the minimal opening, because from the factory there is 5 degrees, and if you want to stop the pump when the heating circuit is heated, then you need to select here minimal opening 0%. So the pump will stop when the valve is fully closed. Okay, so let's move on. Next function is measurement pause. 30 seconds. This is basically this waiting time. So there was this 5 seconds stroke, so it will open 5 seconds, then wait 30 seconds, and then open additional 5 seconds. So also by this measurement pause, if you put here a lower number, then of course the valve will close and open faster. So next function is valve type. We have two types of the valves. Standard is CH, central heating valve, and then we have also floor heating valve. What it changes is basically the maximal valve temperature. So basically, if you select the floor valve, you will have the maximum temperature like 50 degrees on the valve, so it will protect the floor heating. Yeah, so can we move on? So next is weather control. Weather control is connected with the outside temperature sensor. It is not included as a standard. Okay, so when you want outside temperature sensor, you need to order it separately. I'm not sure about it, but it has some number like this. Yeah. It should be because all other sensors are KTY, so yeah, so it should be the outside temperature sensor. Yeah, so basically, of course, be aware then when you activate the weather control. As you can see right now, I will, I have the weather control on, so it's activated. Always, when you activate some accessories, you need to have these temperature sensors also connected, because otherwise you will get alarm message. And yeah, and then you can of course adjust the heating curve as you like. So it will basically change the valve temperature according to the outside temperature. So next function is actually the room regulator. And right now, the English translation is something, but you will probably have to compare it with your translation to be sure that we speak about this the same values. But basically, inside you first activate the room regulator, and then you have two options. You can again decrease the temperature of the valve if there is no request for heating, or you can close the valve. Yes, give me a second and I will be there. Well, yeah, you adjust 4 points, -20, -10, and 0 and 10. But it's not just jumps like this, it is actually modulation. So the control unit will calculate even the temperatures between. Yeah. Okay. So room regulator. And now basically to explain how it works. We have two versions of regulation, as I said. RS regulator decrease means that it will decrease the temperature of the valve. Okay. And RS regulator proportional means that it will switch off or switch on the valve, close the valve or open the valve. Okay. I mean, RS means the RT10 in this case. Mm-hmm. For the standard room thermostat, we have additional functions on the right side. Okay, so basically I can show you probably right now. We have standard regulator and then a room rec temp lower to decrease the temperature with the standard regulator. So basically you need to here select which temperature you want, if it's RT10 or the standard room temperature, room thermostat. And then of course, let's say if we select the RS regulator proportional, there is no other selection, because you basically say that you want to stop the boiler, or pardon, you want to close the valve. So you just activate it like this, and right now when the room thermostat says do not heat, then the valve will close. If we select decrease, okay, as a regulator decrease, then of course we need to also select the drop of the temperature again, by how many degrees the valve will go down with its temperature. For this we have room rec temperature lower. Okay. The middle one, room rec temperature lower, and inside you select by how many degrees you want to lower the temperature on the valve. To say it simply again somehow, I think in most of the situations what you want to do is basically to simply close the valve. Okay, let's say I have a heating circuit and the rooms are heated up. So what I do is that when the room is heated up, I will tell the mixing valve to close, basically. Okay, so this will be the case with the setup of RS regulator proportional. But again, if you have, let's say, if you have some rooms which are, let's say, cooled down really fast, then of course it's a good idea to use only decrease of the temperature on the valves. So you will always push a little bit of hot water inside the heating system, but not too much. The last, yeah. No. It is the valve temperature, set valve temperature minus room rec temperature lower. Okay, so example, on the mixing valve you select 60 degrees. And on the room rec temp lower you select 30 degrees. So it's 60 minus 30. So when the thermostat says do not heat, it will be 30 degrees on the valve. Okay, the last function on the right side is room temperature difference. This works only with the RT10 thermostat. This is basically again the drop of the temperature or difference of the temperature inside the room. You know, when the room thermostat should say that the valve should be opened again. Okay. So again, for example, if we have 22 degrees inside the room, and right now we have room temperature difference 1 degree, so 22 minus 1 at 21, the valve will again start to open. Thermostat will say to the valve that it needs heating again. So basically, to explain it simple again, first what you do is to select if you want to have decrease or proportional version. So decrease the temperature of the valve or close the valve. And in case of decrease of the temperature, of course, the second step would be to change the room temperature lower function to select the drop of the temperature. So basically, you can display, of course, the information about the valves on the main screen, as you can see right now. You can see there on the right top corner, basically, that we activated also the room thermostat, and we have also this small cloud, which is basically the weather control with the outside temperature sensor. Okay. The outside temperature is displayed on the top in the middle. 22 degrees is the outside temperature now. Yeah, right here. It is calculated right now, because right now you see that the opening is 0% actually, because the outside temperature is 22 degrees. So basically that's why the current valve temperature and set valve temperature is only 28, really low number. You know, if I would change the outside temperature to lower number, then of course the set valve temperature would go up according to the curve which is selected inside the weather compensation, as you can see basically right now. Right, so if you check 10 degrees on the right side, and you check how many degrees we have the boiler temperature or the valve temperature, pardon, it's below 40 degrees, so maybe like 38 or something. But because we have 22 degrees, then that's why we have actually even lower number on the valve in our case 28 degrees. Right. So right now it says also that the room thermostat is saying to heat the room, but because of the weather compensation, the valve is closed because there is 22 degrees outside, so there is no need to heat up basically. Yeah, so basically these two things, room thermostat and also the weather compensation, they work together. Okay, so they are checking each other, and they both have to be like active to tell the boiler to start. So right now only the thermostat is telling the boiler to start heating, but because of the weather compensation, boiler is still stopped because there is 22 degrees outside. So that's probably all about the mixing valve. There is nothing else to select, or maybe we can go back to the menu of the room thermostat of the mixing valve, and we just I just show you the last functions which I didn't show you before. So we will have complete explanation. Proportional coefficient, I never changed this value. There is a 5 degrees from the factory. This is basically how fast the boiler or the valve reacts on the change of the outside temperature. So if you have bigger number here, the reaction will be faster. Okay, so if the temperature is going down outside temperature is going down, and you want fast reaction, you want to open the valve and start heating as soon as possible, you select here, let's say 10, not 5. Okay, but I don't think that it is necessary to change that. Yeah. So the next value will be opening direction. Of course, when you have a mixing valve, you have two live wires, left and right, and with the opening direction you can choose which way or which wire is used for opening and which wire is used for closing. So you can change the direction of the movement of the valve. Let's say sometimes when people connect the valve, you have two live wires, and if they connect it the wrong way, the opposite way, they have two options: disconnect the wires and connect them the opposite way, or they can go to the opening direction menu and just change the way how the valve is opening. CO sensor selection will be the next function. Let's say this is something, how to call it, this is connected with the boiler protection. The valve is checking the boiler temperature. That's why right now we have CH sensor activated. CH sensor is the boiler sensor. And when the boiler is overheated, the valve will open so the water can go to the system and the boiler can cool down. And here basically you can select if you want to use the CH sensor or if you want to use the C1 additional sensor, because on the connection board there are C1, C2, C3 and C4 additional sensors, and you can use additional sensor for forced opening of the valve. Okay, CH sensor is when the boiler is, let's say, overheated. But if you have, for example, I don't know, buffer tank, and you want to protect the same way the buffer tank against overheating, you can choose the additional sensor and connect the additional sensor to the buffer tank, so when the buffer tank is overheated, the valve will open to protect the buffer tank, for example. Yeah, KTY, yes, yes. I mean, all the sensors we use are KTY. Only the outside temperature sensor is the different version, and of course the chimney sensor is also different. So the next thing is the boiler protection. This is connected with the CH sensor selection. Boiler protection is this protection against boiler overheating. Standard is deactivated actually, so if you want to have to open the valve when the boiler is overheated, you need to select on, and then you select the max temperature, 80 degrees, which basically means in max temperature right now I have 80 degrees. This means that if the temperature of the boiler do not or the valve will close itself again when the temperature goes below 80 degrees. You know, so when the boiler temperature is higher than 90 degrees, in case of alarm, in case of overheating, the valve will stay open until the boiler temperature drops down to 80 and less degrees. Yes. So this is boiler protection function, and next to the boiler protection function is actually return water protection. It depends on the way of the installation, of course, but if you use mixing valve as a protection against low temperature of the return water, then of course you don't need additional thermostatic valve, you have just mixing valve, and here you select minimal return temperature, and the valve will be closed until the temperature inside the boiler is, for example here, at least 46 degrees. Yes. Mm-hmm. No, 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 no. Return protection. No, no. You basically, there are two ways how to protect the ball. You have a standard thermostatic valve, right? Or you have mixing valve. When you have mixing valve, you need to activate this return protection function and select the minimal temperature which should be inside the ball. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Return temperature sensor is always with each ball. Oh, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know, something which compensates the pressures, the different pressures that you have 3 bars in the system and 2 bars in the ball. Uh, I'm not sure what you mean exactly. Uh-huh. Mhm. Basically, with the valve pump, you can select the switch on temperature, as you can see here on the display. So I'm not sure exactly if this is the case. What you want? Yes. Yeah, I got it. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. To control the. Okay, okay. I mean, the first pump is probably the CH pump, correct? Right? The first pump, CH pump, boiler pump. Okay. The second pump, I mean, so you will, but you have no mixing valve there on the other side with the second pump, correct? It's just simple circuit. Mhm. Uh, okay, so basically it depends always, you know, when you put the temperature sensors. So you could, one example, for the second pump, the second pump could be like the built-in valve pump, okay, uh, but you have no valve, so you would use the valve sensor to connect it on the return pipe to the boiler, and then you would select in the valve pump, as I will show you right now, switch on temperature, you know, when the pump should be activated. So the pump will be, for example, activated when the return water temperature will be, I don't know, 40 or something like this. Does it make sense? So yeah. Additional valve, no? Yeah, okay, okay, okay. Mhm. 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 Uh, you could do it also different way, I believe. You can do it probably the opposite way, maybe. Additional example, the second pump could be the CH pump, standard CH pump, which is activated when the boiler temperature is at least, I don't know, 40, and the uh, first pump could be activated only when the oh, let me say, the I mean it depends what should influence the second pump. If only the temperature, I believe it's simple. So you select the temperature when the pump should be activated. But if you want, for example, to activate the pump by the room thermostat, this is also possible, but then it is hard to make sure that it will be activated only when the boiler is heated up. That's the problem. That if you want to operate it by the only by the temperature sensor, then yes. But if there is a second thing as a room thermostat, then it's hard to make sure that it will start only when the boiler is hot, basically. Mhm. You mean that on the right side from the pump there will be a buffer, correct? Well, probably yes, because if you heat up buffer, then you have no influence by the room thermostat. So you basically say that then you can basically manage that the second pump will start operate only if the return water temperature to the boiler is, for example, at least 45. This is possible to do. Because the second pump in this case would be activated. Yeah. It could, or you can use the additional pump option inside the fitters menu, additional pump, because inside the additional pump you can select in which temperature the pump should be activated, and you can also choose the type of the temperature sensor you want to use it with the pump. So you would have the temperature sensor connected to the return pipe to the boiler, and you would select that you would say that the pump will be activated only when the return water temperature is, for example, 45, and when the boiler would be 45, then the second pump would be activated. This is possible in the fitters menu, additional pump. You could select, for example, here CH pump, then go exit. I will do it in a second. And if you go exit, then you have set up for the pump. So right side, and you have sensor selection. Now you can see sensor selection, and here you can attach to the pump any kind of sensor you want. Okay, so let's say right now we have additional sensor 1, which is C1 on the connection board, and this C1 sensor would be connected on the return pipe to the boiler. And then of course you just select the temperature, 45 or whatever, and the pump will be activated if the temperature is higher than the set point. So in this case 45. Yes. Yeah. And the first pump would be like standard CH boiler pump, so it would be activated basically also when the boiler temperature is higher than 40. Then the small circuit would be pushed by the C1 by the first pump. Just saying, that the first pump, the pump number 1, would be connected to the CH pump output. Okay. Yes. I mean, there is always some way around, but sometimes it's hard to find the best way. Yes. Yes. No problem. Yes, I'm here. So can we continue? So we are still in features menu. Now question is maybe if I should go through all the settings, or you have something important in your mind we should discuss right now. We show now all the menus here. Yeah, that's the same thing. There is no change. Edge removal is also the same. Basically, really simple. You have just two functions: operation time and pause time. So basically, how long it works and how long it stays. Mm-hmm. You mean you want to use the zone valve, only open and close valve, to heat up the hot water tank, correct? Like not the pump, not to use the pump, but just the valve to heat up the hot water tank. Yes. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yes, it is possible. I can explain. Okay, so of course for hot water production we have a special menu. So you need to go to the main settings, and inside the main settings we have working mode. We have give me a second. Yes, we have working modes of the pumps. Yeah, I will go just back right now. Working modes of the pumps. Okay. And inside you can select how do you want to heat up the hot water. So boiler priority or parallel pumps, it is basically heating up the hot water with the pump, which is something you don't want. But if we go to the right side, we have something called CH pump summer mode. It is really a little bit weird name, but it works also for hot water production. I give you example, okay? You select parallel pumps and you select CH pump summer. You activate this function. Okay, so parallel pumps is activated and the CH pump summer is also activated. Okay, now yes, and now explanation what it does. Okay. So when there is a request only for hot water production, what you need is to keep the CH boiler pump running. Okay, you do not deactivate the only pump you have for hot water CH pump, so this works. But the CH pump summer means that the CH pump will work also if the hot water production is active. So if there is right now a request for hot water production, the zone valve will open, but because the CH pump summer is activated, the boiler pump will still run and push the water to the hot water tank and will not be deactivated. This is why we selected the CH pump summer active. Right, so because you know So basically, to explain again, now if you have room thermostat will tell the boiler to stop anytime, but because we have a parallel pumps selection, the hot water production can be activated even when the room thermostat is telling to not heat. That's the one thing. And the second thing is because we selected the CH pump summer, CH pump will work also during hot water production and will push the water inside the hot water tank when the zone valve is opened. The last thing, of course, the zone valve for hot water production must be connected inside the DHV pump output on the connection board, because we do not have special output for the zone valve, so you will use the DHV pump output on the connection board for the zone valve. Picture. Okay. Yes. Okay. And what's the question? So Yes. Mhm. Well, yeah, I mean this is fairly simple, but I believe that there is a CH pump missing on the picture. Okay. So yeah, in this case, of course, the second pump for hot water, that's standard. Okay, so we go to the main settings, working modes of the pumps, and we probably select. We can select parallel pumps or boiler priority. It depends on you. So. Mhm. No, no. In this case, no, because he is using the pump for the hot water production, not the zone valve. So you don't need to select CH pump summer. Mhm. Mhm. Right now you see on the display on the right side that there is a buffer settings. And this is actually probably the second step you need to do. We activated the hot water production, but I believe you need to adjust, how the buffer tank is heated. So first thing is that for the buffer you use two temperature sensors, sensor top and sensor bottom. Uh, mhm. On the connection board, these sensors are named C1 and C2. C1 is top and C2 is bottom. Yes. So now we need to activate the buffer. So again, in the filters menu, if we go to the right side in the moment, there will be a menu for buffer parameters. Yes, so inside, of course, first step is to activate the buffer. This is the left icon. So we basically activate the buffer. Right now it's on. Now, really important thing is the DHV function. In a second, you will see it when I click exit. DHV function is basically saying from where do you want to heat up the hot water tank. And with your scheme, actually, it is better to heat up from the buffer. Yeah, because yeah, because right now if we select from buffer, the boiler will not start if the buffer is heated up for hot water production. Okay, so we take the hot water from the buffer and the boiler will be off, for example. Okay, that's why it's better from the buffer. Okay, so the last thing is of course to set the top temperature and set the bottom temperature of the buffer. And that's basically it. Then it should work as you want. Okay. Well, I can explain at least how it works. We can go maybe step by step. I will ask about each accessories. What about lambda? Do you expect to? No, same things. Okay, so okay, so now we have these three compressor cleaning, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, compressor cleaning 1 is for the burner cleaning. Okay, so inside the connection board, again on the right side you have you will see the outputs, and you have there compressor 1 and compressor 2. But because you do not have a V9 premium version, you will not have their compressor 3 output. So, but basically compressor 1 is for the, and compressor 1 output is for the burner cleaning. When we speak about burner cleaning, you have always two options. If you want to clean during operation when the flame is inside the boiler, or if you want to clean only when the boiler is switched off. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The selection, as you see right now, if the compressor cleaning is off, let's say, it means that it will not clean during operation when the flame is inside. It will clean only when the boiler is off after extinction. Yes. So basically this is also the setup which I recommend for the burner cleaning, because as you said, for small burners you do not want to destroy the flame and make ignition after each compressor cleaning. So for the compressor cleaning 1, for burner cleaning, I recommend to keep it off, so the compressor will clean only when the boiler is heated, is off, and then it will clean automatically. Okay. And with the compressor cleaning 2 and compressor cleaning 3, these are the outputs for the heat exchanger cleaning. And here actually I recommend to leave it on, so it will clean also during operation, as you can see right now. Yeah, I recommend to keep it like it is. They are from the factory. There are different settings for the heat exchanger cleaning and different settings for the burner cleaning, and it depends also on the power of the boiler. So bigger power you select during the first startup of the boiler, the longer the cleaning will be. So I recommend to keep the factory values. You can move on. So this was the cleaning. Then we have this. The next thing, of course, was the valves. Yes. They are. Yeah. Yeah, there are two versions: Biopel V9 Premium and Biopel V9 Premium Plus. So if you order Plus version, then all the accessories will be already installed on the boiler from the factory. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 It will, yeah. Mm-hmm. It depends on you. It will fit inside the tank, but if you want it outside for some reason, it can be also outside. Yeah, it's way better than before. So if you, especially when you close it inside the tank, inside the compact tank, the noise is really low, so it's really good compressor. Okay. Uh-huh. Well, it will not take long. There is one problem. I mean, we have everything is prepared for the production. We will probably next month we will start production of few pieces. There is a little problem that we have few older versions on the stock. Okay, so I'm not sure about the production, but I heard that next month we will start to produce it. Okay, I'm not sure if 60 or 80 kilowatt premium version, or maybe only 80, maybe only 60, I'm not sure. But there will be probably some boilers produced next month, and then it's just question about if these boilers are free or if they are already taken. So maybe you can ask Pavlina about it, ask about the production for next month, if just question if we will produce these premium versions next month. Mm. Okay. Mm. I believe yes. I believe yes, because last time we spoke about it like a few days ago. I believe that the 60 kilowatt older versions are already like taken. That we have few pieces, but we will ship them soon. We already have customers for that, and we have 5 Biopel 80 old versions. So we need to sell them first, and then of course to start the new ones. But it's finished. I believe right now it's the best time to do some leaflets, some information if you need. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was mistake. I mean, you know, when you sent me this information, I checked the manual. I was thinking about other stuff which could be like the different between V9 and V9 Premium, but I didn't find any, so I believe all other stuff remains the same. Yeah, sure, but yeah, but the update chapter, the thing about the update was from was taken from the V9, not and not changed to V9 Premium. But I don't think there will be any kind of mistakes like this. You know, full menu has been translated, checked if it matches the control unit, so I believe it should be okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Mm. Uh, yeah, sure. I mean, what we because we have these old manuals on the in the storage, but maybe I could tell people from the sales department, Pavlina and others, if you order V9 Premium, we can print you new manual like on the computer right now, and when we have, or I can talk with them about that. Maybe we can send yeah. Mhm. I checked myself that the menu inside the control unit is definitely the same translation as inside the manual. That's one thing. And I will remember this discussion, and I will tell the people to print some manuals, the new versions for you. So next time when you do the order, I hope we'll have these new manuals already prepared for you. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I will check also myself. What we have. So Italian. Once again, what was the date? Okay, I have 21 August. I will check especially the line about the translation. Just give me a second. So, a lot of pages. Okay, so yeah, it's a mistake. I have the mistake here as well. I have two files and it should be just one file. Yes, so I will change the manual. I will correct it. So when they print it, there will be not this mistake anymore. Yes. Well, we mainly use it for Czech partners, but I can check there is also the English version. Let's say you would have to go you would have to click on EN on the top right corner to get to the English version, and then you have entrance, and let me think about it a little bit. I will check if it should be, I think, maybe boilers OPOP. Yeah, but it's outdated, I would say. No, this is just last update. Here is it is username is boilers and password is OPOP. Boilers OPOP, but we have here only Biopel version 8, so maybe we could also update it. But it's we keep it up to date in Czech version, so we should probably keep it updated also for English version. So depends on you. Maybe I will tell people to update it, but if you need something, of course you can always send me email about it, and I will send you anything you need. It's basically manuals inside, software versions, test reports. Okay. Yep. Yes. Always only on the display. Yes. Okay. This was the case in the beginnings, but not right now. So I will need to change it. Yeah, actually, I have planned to do it quite soon. There should be like 20 at least videos about the technical stuff. So yeah, it will be soon. I believe the first like 10 videos will be in 1 month, and then we will make even more videos in the future. Uh, the way how you update it is the same. Okay, you use USB key and you connect it only to the display. The only difference is that for Biopel V9 you have 2 files, and for Biopel V9 Premium you have only 1 file. Yes. Well, speaking of V9, there is probably no correction. So what he has there, it will be there again. No changes. No, I would have to ask in programmer to use your translation for V9 Premium and use it also for V9 and send you the update. This would be the only way how to have the same translation inside V9 and V9 Premium. Oh, I can somehow manage it. I can ask how long it will take them. I mean, your translation can be used, of course, also for V9, but right now we do not have software with this translation. So I can ask programmer and push him to do it soon. I don't know, but still at least 1 week. At least 1 week. Is the translation so big problem for him? Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. Maybe if if he needs heating, you can maybe only send him display with the setup. So he just connects new display inside, and when the translation is ready, you can do the translation thing. Because this, I mean, the setup of all the parameters is inside the main connection board. So when you change the display, the setup is still as you did it last time when you've been there. So you can change the display without the need to go to the boiler room, I think. Yes. Mm-hmm. We tested 30 kilowatt and 50 kilowatt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean the 50 kilowatt was tested a little bit, some time ago. It was not tested in the same time, so maybe they didn't send you this protocol because it's a little bit older. So yeah, I will search for it and I will send you this. Mm-hmm. I mean, pardon. I mean, if you have no problem with the Biopel with the Ecomax 30, the probably the Ecomax 50 has better parameters as Ecomax 30, so there should be probably no problem. But you will of course see when I send you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, carbon dioxide. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Yeah, I will hopefully. No, I think tomorrow, no problem. I will send it. Mm-hmm. Good question. No. Translate. uh, sure. Sure. The simple model is really simple control unit, so it will take you like few minutes to translate. Really simple. The more advanced version of the control unit is really close to the control unit we use on H8 boiler, the automatic coal boiler. I will ask about the translation, and we will do it. You know, okay. So basically, you know, the Biopel is really hard to translate because there is a lot of stuff inside. Ecomax control units are really simple, so it should be really fast to translate. Well, I have Ecomax control unit, but unfortunately I have only the simple version. So question is, we can do simple version or we can do both the next time. It depends on you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because right now I checked what we have on the warehouse, but unfortunately all the better control units are on the boiler in the warehouse, but not separately in the warehouse. So I need to search for some version for you, and then we could do the second training only on the Ecomax. Maybe it will be better because it will be more specific only about the Ecomax. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. And with the did you check? Yeah, V9 software. So this means two files, and you want the software with the translation, correct? Do you have the? Did you try to install somewhere the V9 Premium if the translation is nice? Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, of course I do not speak Italian, but you know, the translation I checked by the manual, and it's the same in the manual and in the control unit, and so I believe we'll be okay. Okay, okay. Okay, you can't install new software on the old control unit, so better take it easy. When you have boiler, you can check on the boiler. Was quite nice. I was not expecting that, but it works somehow. So yeah, so no other questions about Biopel? Mhm. I checked the counter 2 hours and 40 minutes. Quite long time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay, we will talk. I will prepare myself for the Ecomax, and I will let you know about the training for the Ecomax, and then it will depend on you when you have time, of course. Yep. Talk to you soon. Yeah, I will. I will. So take care. Have a good day. Bye bye. Yep.